Welcome back to The Wandering Screen. I'm Matt Koss and I'm talking about the new thriller Heretic, so let's get started. Some people are simply starved for conversation. They don't want a deep discussion, a philosophical debate, or even small talk. They just want someone to listen. Enter Mr. Reed, an isolated heretic played with impeccable mischief by Hugh Grant, who's decided to test the limits of belief when two unsuspecting Latter-day Saint missionaries come knocking at his door. The duo in question are Sister Paxton, Chloe East, the eager but naive newcomer, and Sister Barnes, Sophie Thatcher, the seasoned and street-smart veteran of the Mormon church door-knocking team. They're in a small town in Colorado, going about their daily routine to check in with potential converts, and they find themselves on Mr. Reed's doorstep just as a storm starts to brew overhead. Divine intervention or a typical storm system in Colorado. Mr. Reed, ever the charming enigma, invites them in and assures them that his wife is baking a blueberry pie. After all, door-knocking protocol dictates that the girl should decline entry into a home without hesitation because a woman must be present. But Mr. Reed, not to be deterred, pushes back, casually claiming that the pie will be ready shortly, and the missionaries reluctantly agree to step inside. So begins the cat and mouse game, two young women trapped in a bizarre mental labyrinth designed by a man with far too much time on his hands. What follows is a masterclass in tension, dialogue, and psychological manipulation. The initial scenes where the missionaries go about their duties in a sleepy small town establish their personalities. Sister Paxton shares her curiosities about sex and only moments later has her pants pulled down by a heartless group of teens. The world is wide and cruel. This all sets a stage for the drama that's about to unfold. Eve's performance as Sister Paxton is a standout, infusing the character with an awkward, endearing quality that contrasts wonderfully with Thatcher's cool, calculated portrayal of Sister Barnes. Paxton's attempts to make sense of the situation are often peppered with slang and panicked humor, while Barnes remains focused, aware of the stakes, and fully prepared to play Mr. Reed's twisted games. Co-writers and co-directors Scott Beck and Bryan amp up the tension by not just relying on the dialogue, but by using visual cues to amplify the psychological battle taking place. The cinematography by Chung-hoon Chung is a masterstroke in subtlety, capturing the claustrophobic mood of each scene with tight close-ups that almost suffocate you. There's a growing sense of disorientation, each character momentarily losing clarity as the conversation shifts and warps, like how Sister Paxton and Sister Barnes sit with anticipation for the promised blueberry pie as Mr. Reed continues to encourage conversation about how iterations start to dilute and diminish religious understanding from Judaism to Christianity and Islam. The tension is only momentary release when Beck and Woods pull back into a wider shot, just long enough for you to take a breath before plunging back into the psychological fray. And here I am, just a giddy audience member excited to see what happens next. The house itself, designed by Philip Messina, becomes another character in the experiment. The labyrinth of hallways, doors, and dead ends echoes Mr. Reed's convoluted worldview. And as the missionaries venture deeper into the house, the stakes grow higher. There is no longer just a theological debate, it's a life or death puzzle and they're stuck in it with no clear way out. And then there's Hugh Grant, charming, mischievous, and entirely convincing in his portrayal of Mr. Reed. His energy is infectious, but there's something chilling beneath the surface. Whether he's lecturing the girls on the evolution of religious thought across cultures, or talking about how Radiohead's Creep is a ripoff of The Hollies' The Air That I Breathe, Grant bounces from one subject to the next with a kind of manic enthusiasm that's so good. For a moment, you almost want to believe him. Maybe he's just a misunderstood intellectual. Maybe he'll let the girls go. Maybe the choice between two different staircases into the basement is just a harmless diversion. Maybe resurrection is a miracle. But here's where the film shines. Beneath the layers of seemingly trivial conversation lies a much deeper unspoken conflict. The real tension doesn't lie in Mr. Reed's twisted games, but in what the girls glean from him by listening to what isn't said. It's a subtle dance of psychological revelation. Every word Mr. Reed speaks serves as a clue to his intentions, and it's in the girls' reactions and their silences and their quiet understanding that the real stakes are laid bare. While you've got three characters chatting in an enclosed space for almost 2 hours, it's the tease that grips you. There's also a peculiar level of absurdity at play. Take Mr. Reed's obsession with his religious theories, which he has illustrated in an elaborate wooden maze he's created. Hobbies are always an important tool for distraction. Then there's the inexplicably full blueberry scented candle that he's so proud of. The candle wax is filled to the brim, so he definitely has an Amazon Prime cardboard box somewhere that he needs to recycle. The minor details play into a larger sense of irrationality that adds lightheartedness to an otherwise tense situation. And then, of course, there's the lingering question: why is there even a basement? It's a question I've long held with authority. Basements should be banned unless they're repurposed bomb shelters, apocalyptic hideaways, or perhaps sex dungeons. While the film isn't exactly a horror movie, it's certainly a slow burn thriller. Beck and Woods lean into the tension, making us question the boundaries of religion, control, and reality itself without ever fully committing. There's a reluctance to offend any particular group too much, and there's a nagging sense that the film could have pushed further, particularly when it comes to Mr. Reed's unyielding conviction that the girls are fundamentally wrong. But despite these missed opportunities, the film's true triumph lies in its underlying truth. No one needs a basement, seriously.
Do not be afraid. You will witness a miracle.
You've made it to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give a like to this video and subscribe. I want to know what you thought of the film, so please leave a comment in the section below. See you next time.